Hello, everyone. I just realized that if you're not on YouTube, you're not going to know we're live. And that is the reason why I said subscribe to YouTube because we're going to start our, our broadcast on YouTube starting today, which is the 2nd of July. So I'm sure that I'll put it back on our Facebook page and let everybody know if they want to watch the show that they need to go over to YouTube and subscribe to our channel so they can see what we're talking about. And as you see, hello, hello, hello.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the RTD,
And as you,
Restore the Brokenness.
all right, as you see, we have that little one in the back. He sleeps, so guys, just kind of overlook him. Listen, guys, we are coming back from Mississippi, and of course, it is raining like never ever before. I'm like, this is the second weekend that we have not been able to be home and broadcasting from home. We're on the road, and because we have our true followers. Watch this out. Our true followers, we're not going to disappoint. So, hey, welcome to the show. So, of course, before we start, we always love to give our disclaimer, and I'm going to do it because Mr. Allen is driving and it's raining and I'm nervous. We, the hosts and guests of Restoring the Brokenness group, do not claim to be counselors, therapists, psychologists, or psychiatrists. The information provided are based on our own experiences and only intended to inspire, encourage, and uplift you. We advise you to seek professional help when dealing with circumstances beyond your control. So, as I said before, welcome to the show. So the topic of the show is we moving on. We moving again or something like that. Y'all know I try to be creative. And it's just ironic that when we went live, it wasn't like raining like this, but now it is. So it's kind of like hard to kind of get into this show without wanting to look and make sure all everything is safe.
I told her not to worry about this. God got this.
Okay,
Okay.
so you just keep your eyes on the
I
road,
might be
bro.
driving, but God's got this. All right.
God's got it. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we're moving on. We're moving forward. We dropped our middle child, our Alan and I's oldest son, off Jackson State freshman year, summer school, and also, the football um, opportunity to work with Deion Sanders. We're just praying everything works out and that everything will fall in line. So, guys, pray, 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 pray that everything works out. It's kind of like different to a certain extent because I'm so used to it being him. AJ is a part of our family. He's always been there, and now he's not. And he's even told Khalifa, I ain't coming back. I'm gonna be back in 4 years. Broham, you're not. You do have summer breaks. You have winter breaks. You have spring breaks. So you're not like gone for 4 years and never returning. So I think in his little mind he think that, but and I want the best for him, and I'm sure that Mr. Allen does as well.
I want the best for him as well. Sometimes you're hyped, you're ready to go. You really want to. As I'm speaking of Alfred Jr., you really want to dive into your the things that's going to brighten your future and get you set up, to a point where you say things like that, but you overlook the fact that there's a small bump in the roads that you're going to have to stop and smell the roses. You're going to have to come home for uh, Thanksgiving. No doubt he'll knock on the door for Christmas. Everybody always wants something. But our endeavors for him is high, and his endeavors is high too. And with the Lord, with the Lord, sky is limits, right?
Okay.
So we're praying for him. You know, we know he'll do good because God's all in the forefront, the background, and he's working things out.
Put and I'm not keeping it on him for too long because he is driving. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like singing today, but anyway, it's been a long journey. There has been so many, as I would say, chapters in life that you find yourself opening up one chapter and then closing the other one. And I just feel like with the experiences that has transpired um, in our lives, it's been so many chapters open, and so many chapters that we've closed. And this is yet this is yet another chapter that we've closed as far as transitioning AJ from our home to college, which indicates that yes, he was an adult then, but he's really an adult now. And as you're opening chapters and you're closing other chapters, I've realized the changes in my life because I have to adjust to the change. Would you agree to that, Mr. Allen?
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And also, you know, this is all about restoring the brokenness. And we say things to try to inspire and uplift people. And what I would say is when you're going through those chapters, stay inspired and don't give up because one thing you need to really expect is to know that everything's not going to be a piece of cake. It's just like walking through a forest. You see the nice greenery from above, and you see the other side is nice and clear. But when you hit that forest to get through there, you don't realize you got rivers to cross, you got obstacles to maneuver around, all just to get all the way to the end. So don't be discouraged because we went through some things too. It wasn't easy with Alfred, so there's a lot of pull and tug and encouraging along the way, but we've got him there, and he's, the good thing about it is that he had the same mindset. Said we're all working towards the same goal. Sometimes everything didn't reflect accordingly, but we all stayed encouraged, and we on our way home, and he's on his way to a bright, prosperous future in college. And as he said, 4 years. So uh, we got hopes for him. I know he can do it. Do that
All
and
right.
more.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing that, Mr. Allen. Like I said before, you guys remember, I mean, if you're watching this, you figured it out. We're no longer on Facebook. We're on YouTube.
YouTube.
So you definitely want to go and spinny. And please, by all means, be patient with us because, like I said before,
Working it out.
we're
We're working
working it
it
out
out.
and we're in the car. So our Wi-Fi sometimes don't want to act right.
And you know something? It's so ironic. Our very first show was in the rain and
Mhm.
on the road, and our very first YouTube is in the rain and on the road.
Right. Exactly. And
So ironic.
I know that, just trying to get used to that. So, listen, it's a whole lot that Restoring the Brokenness is going to be a part of, and we're going to be doing
Yes.
so. If you all are supporters as you are, please keep an eye out on the things that the upcoming events and the upcoming guests that we're going to have on the show. And we really are going to dig into some topics that may be a little uncomfortable for many, and appreciate it for others. So I like to be sitting in the studio when we have a really heart to heart conversation about the whole Roe versus Wade,
Right.
because
Right.
that is a whole lot of unpacking, very sensitive topic. Am I backing away from him? Of course not. But in the car, I don't know. You know what I mean? And I would like more of you guys' input on on the topic. And right now, seeing that we've to I don't really have that right now. So guys, please remember to subscribe to our channel. Okay, Mr. Allen, can I get a couple of those? Is there anything you want to talk about? Because the topic was we moving on, we moving again. Oh, he's chewing.
Well,
Okay, he's chewing. I call him chewing.
well, we moving on. In our sense of the word, we moving on means it's progress. You know, it's not like we're moving on from difficulty to try to find uh, rest in the hard work that we've been doing. We're moving on. Our son is growing up and he's accepting responsibilities, and he's experiencing things that is making him more and more man. You can say one thing. Um, we're all adults. He likes to say that.
That's his favorite thing.
We're all adults. It's one thing to be to have the number, but experience, wisdom, and what's that other word? Maturity.
Right.
Is another thing. And it's one thing I've learned. One thing I've learned is that maturity comes with letting them go. Maturity comes with letting them go.
Right.
What they've learned is what we've taught them along the way.
Okay.
Things that they should know better, things that they should be by. But one thing I learned in this is that when I was coming up as a kid, I made mistakes along the way, and I shouldn't be so bent out of shape when they make mistakes, but try to be there to tuning instrument to let them know, okay, it's part of growing up. Hopefully you learn a lesson from this, you learn a lesson from that, we can move on. But moving on is, this sense of the word is, he's branching out. We're branching out too. We're kind of going backwards, but we're going forward. We're going backwards to being empty nesters, but we're still moving forward because our legacy that we put in our kids is in the ground and growing. So moving on is a good word when I think about that, on today.
Okay. Great. All right. Now I'm chewing.
Chew on, sisters.
You caught me chewing. Okay, I love that. I don't really have much to say about that. Moving on means a lot of things,
Yeah.
Watching your children grow up and find their way, and then as they're growing up, we're growing older and finding our way and learning how to adjust to that. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I got a question
Oh God.
for you YouTubers out there, and hit back at me now. Don't just one of y'all. Do you still necessarily have to be a soccer parent when that child leaves the house? Is it necessary that you should still be a soccer parent, or should you just, hey, I'm here if you need me, I'm only a phone call away? Can you do too much micromanaging? Can you be that helicopter parent? Can you overdo it? Give me a shout back and let me know how you guys feel about that.
Wait a minute. What was your question?
the question is, can you overdo it? Can you be, you got soccer moms, you got helicopter parents. Once the child leave the house to 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 grasp their own lives, can you overdo it by micromanaging and being
You
too
can't.
involved?
Well, Al. Once they leave the house, it's apparent that they are adults, and a lot of times, adult children are not. I mean, adult children aren't going to allow you to micromanage them because they have their own mind. All you can do, you can't. You can no longer raise them because they're who they are going to be. All you can do is like be that support for them. Sometimes as an adult we were young adults and that we were young and we made some stupid choices and decisions, and we just did stupid stuff because the Bible even speaks of when I was a child, I spoke as a child, my understanding was as a child, but when I became a man or woman, of course, I put away those childish things. Even when they're adults, they're 18, 19, 20, they're adults, but they're learning, they're becoming an adult. That's how I look at it. Yeah, your age say that you are an adult, but you are still becoming because you're learning. That means you're going to make mistakes as an adult. As adults, you're going to make probably many mistakes. Not as many comes because sometimes people learn from their mistakes or other people's mistakes, but sometimes, in a sense, some people aren't going to learn until they just have to go through it. There are so many people that you can tell do not go across that street because if you go across that street, this and that, they're not going to do anything but go across that street because you told them not to. So now they're curious. What's across that street? Is gonna what is it about this street that they don't want me to cross? That's how it is with adults, young adults. Sometimes the very thing that you don't want them to do is the very thing that drives them to do it. So only thing you can do is just be a parent, be patient, and understand that this too will pass. You just have to be able to be there when they do fall.
Well, what I meant to say is, can you delay them? Can you get in their way by being there too much rather than just letting them experience life for themselves? Can you can you end up really holding them back?
Right, or delaying the
You know, because my answer to my own question is
okay.
that my answer to the question is that you should allow them to be the man and woman they are. They're not the children they are anymore. Being a parent, waiting to catch them when they fall. I think the child should, the only thing left for you to say is, hey, if you need me, I'm a phone call away. And that's in itself is neutral. It's not like, hey, I'm gonna be the cleaner upper or anything. No, I can give you some advice, but I'm not gonna do it for you. You're gonna have this is your world now. This is your life. This is for you to grasp, turn it around, and learn from life. You know what I'm saying? So, what do you guys think about that? How you feel about that? What do you believe a parent can be too involved to a point where that it can only really be a anchor, actually for the young man or young woman that has just left the nest?
Yes, well, as a mom, I know that you can be too involved by not allowing them to spread their wings because we want to guard them, we want to guide them, and we want to make sure that they don't mess up or they don't get hurt or they don't get injured in the process of growing up. And sometimes we can cause them to do that because they never learn because the streets, the world's going to teach them. And they're not going to treat you like they're not going to treat them like you treat them. So I think the best thing for you to do is just allow them to grow up. I had to learn the hard way with my kids that although I thought that I was helping them by providing what I felt that they needed and trying to be everything to them, that I felt that that's what they needed. And that was really not a good choice to make because it kind of delayed their progress as far as growing up to be mature, responsible, and just street, like world, have a world understand more of an understanding on the world,
Real
I,
world understanding.
a real life experience, because you so into trying to keep them from being hurt, or keep them from being taken advantage of, or to keep them from being to experiencing what life really is. So as parents, we have to learn how to back away and allow them to make mistakes, allow them to think on their own. I've learned that. If they're asking for advice, I'll give them advice, but I'll say ultimately it's your decision. This is your life. I've lived mines. I'm continuing to live mines, but you have to choose what life you want to live, yours, or you're trying to live through what you think my expectations of life should be for you. You have to find your way. And what I always tell my children is, don't forget God, because at the end of the day, people can say what they want to say. God is he is the ultimate provider and protector, because he sees all of this stuff that we're trying to figure out. We're constantly trying to figure things out without him, and you can't ever eliminate him out of the equation. He is that source that you need when your parents can't be that. Even if I could be that, I still can't be more than what he can be. So I think I answered your question. What was that
Very
question
good.
again?
Very good. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, the question is, can the parents be too involved? Can the parents be too involved? And you answered it quite well. I also think that there's a wrong way. There's several ways that you can approach this. There's a right way, wrong way. There's even a neutral way to approach it. But I think overall there's a holistic approach to this, because your your vantage point, at the way that you have lived your life and perceived things, is going to be totally different, because we live in different you live in a different dispensation as to what your child is living into right now. We're in the year 2020, when we were coming up, we had the rotary phone and everything. So kids look at things a whole lot different. There's a lot of things that's going on. But you made mention of one thing, that even though all of this is different, there's one thing that is constant, and that is God.
Hmm.
Keep God in mind. Always look to factor Him in the situation, because whether you know it or not, he is in it. He's the one that's opening up the doors. He's the one that's protecting you along the way. He's the one that's allowing people to find favor in you. You look around, you wonder, wow, I wasn't even expecting that. But the thing about it is that you can sit people, you can let a situation develop before you. You know, an incident or something that requires quick thinking. An accident. Somebody walk into you, set up a. I'm trying to think of people. Okay, how everybody's mind is different. So, and you can ask the person. This one person, what color was the person's eyes? What was he wearing? Was he wearing anything on his head? And everybody's going to perceive that whole situation totally different. And that's the way your child looks at life, as opposed to the way the life you went through, and the life that you're looking at right now. The only thing that matters is the facts, and what's going on in today. But other than that, that child's mind is totally different. You have to let that child branch off into his own world and experience things for himself, and tell that child to keep God. Keep God in everything you do.
Okay. And you caught me chewing again.
We eating candy, y'all,
Oh,
but we having a good time talking to y'all. That's what restoring the brokenness is all about. it's something's broken, and you want it right. You you have to know that it a lot of things can be restored. Things in life can be restored. There's some things that you dispense of because it's no longer needed. But those things that are important, those things that are vital to life, they can be restored. Your
Mm,
heart, your mind,
okay.
even your soul can be restored.
Okay.
Relationships.
I don't know about the soul part. I gotta
Oh yes, you
research
can.
that.
No,
However,
all you gotta do is get down on your knees.
okay.
You can be on your way to hell, and all you
All
have to do
right.
is get down on your knees. Your soul can be restored.
Okay. So, the question was, can you do too much for your children or to hinder their growth? Yes, you can. And I mean, the times are different, as he stated before. The times are different than how life was when you were growing up versus how it is now. True. And just learning, and I think that's the part of being an adult is learning and understanding that times are different. Sometimes we want to use what how we were raised and say, well, it didn't kill us. Well, you have to remember these are totally different souls that you're dealing with, different kids, different people, beings. And no, it probably didn't kill us, but that doesn't mean that it was right. I think I never will knock my parents because they really did what they thought was the right way to raise their children because nine times out of ten, there wasn't any books that they were reading to say this is the right way to raise a child. So they really just learned. It's like learned behavior. So who's to say that that was always right? The behavior that was learned, that was taught to them. So I'm not going to sit here and try to follow behind the way my parents raised me to do it to raise my children because my opinion it wasn't always 100% accurate way of raising or I you have to remember these are different kids. There's some kids that you can really talk to, they can get it. Some kids you got to give them the evil eye, they get it. Some kids you can do all of that and they still just going to be who they are. And you have to figure out how do I deal with children that are just a hot mess. They don't care nothing about you taking nothing from them. They don't care nothing about no corporal punishment. They just don't care. So how do you deal with those type of children? Um, so you have to learn your child and know that each child is not the same child. So what's good for one may not be good for the other. But I digress, of course, because that was not the question. So, all right. So I think I answered it earlier, and I'm gonna move on to from that question, Mister Guy that wants to ask all these questions. Do you have another question? Because I'm
No, I
moving
don't.
on. Okay.
That's what
Okay.
the title's all about. Moving on.
Okay. So while we were there, um, Alfred's teacher wanted to. She didn't have class yesterday because the 4th of July weekend is coming up, and so instead of having class, she decided to have like this celebration for one of the workers that had got a promotion somewhere. I mean, at the college in Nashville.
Nashville,
I can't even.
Murphyboro,
Yes,
Middle
and so she
Tennessee.
was like Middle Tennessee. Okay, so he got a promotion there. She invited us to this event. It was kind of different because she wanted to, meet us and whatever. It was kind of different, but it was really a learning experience for me. I always try to find an opportunity to learn because I think learning is so what we need to always strive experience, try to get something out of it. So she was like, okay, come on in. And besides, there was some free food too. That means I didn't have to go and try to find enough food to feed these people that eats, that's not here or there. But anyway, we go there. The gentleman seems like a really nice, cool guy. And she's Asian, so she had a lot of her Asian recipes and meals there. It was really, really good. Well, I was just hungry. Oh, anyway,
It was good.
yeah. And so I was doing. I also when I finally kind of felt a little comfortable, I started talking to the guy that was leaving, and he was telling me about where he was hired at, and I was telling him about my experience as a African American woman with degrees, educator, and a leader. It was most challenging. I've learned I didn't do my research as much as I should have. How the South, the acceptance of the South with our African American women, that's looking for leadership roles or just being an educator. And so just collaborating with him, I was able to find out a little bit more about him. And so it looks like we made some connections. And so hopefully and prayerfully, things will work out the way that I would love for them to work out. But I said all this to say that I said all that to say this. Sometimes in life, we have to understand what journeys are. Journeys is not always the way that you pan it out. Like there are some people in life that every step that they make, it has to be um, calculated. It has to be in order. It has to be um, intentional, and there's just no other way that they're gonna go. While others, I am like an open book in the sense of I am willing to learn and to stretch myself and allow myself to be stretched and learn opportunities. I don't want to be like a calculator. This is the way it should be. Around this time, I should be doing this and whatever, whatever, because that limits your ability to grow, to expand. And so I just kind of found myself in some spaces that I never even considered being in. But when you have a growth mindset, you're like, listen, I just want to experience all that I can to help me be all that I can be. And so I just was like really enjoying it was not a long interaction with the gentleman, but it was enough to let me know that I can be stretched a little bit more and not be so limited to what I'm thinking that my purpose is on this earth, because it's more than that. Even if I felt like in one little category, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, I know that it's bigger than that. And so I had to allow myself to fill that space up with, okay, perhaps I may be limiting myself to just this certain place, and the Lord is like, but I'm bigger than that spot. So, oh my God, look at me already trying to preach, child. But anyway, I just wanted to encourage someone that may just think that the spaces that you're trying to fill up and they're not allowing you to any interest, that entrance, that may not be the space that you need to spend a lot of time in. You need to open yourself up to a world that you may not even consider that you're good enough or smart enough or can even be in those spaces, because sometimes we limit ourselves because of where we are, what has been shown to us, or what we see. We can't see ourselves outside of those spaces, but life it challenges when you start to explore the world. You realize, man, those are some spaces that I never knew even existed. That's what I've learned from this. I wish I would have known many, many, many years ago in my career that there are some spaces that I have not even tapped into that I perhaps would be fine in. It may not be the spaces that I've been chasing down. It may be bigger than that. So, hey, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. And that's just my little take, my little segment on allowing yourself to have a growth mindset and allowing yourself to expand in spaces that may be unconventional to other people. And that doesn't mean that they're not spaces for you, because we all have in our mind what success look like may not be may not really be the truth. That's all I'm saying. What's your thought on that, Val?
I agree. It sounds like you're saying that a person should keep an open mind
Hmm.
as to which direction that they want to go in. That's going to be the best chess move for them. You know, um, the older I get, the more I start realizing that um, it's important to present yourself in a certain way to everybody and anybody that you come across, because Um, I think the reason why you come in contact with certain people is to it has to do with the relationship with you have with God. Because somewhere in the Bible it says, "Be careful of who you entertain." You should be careful about the different people you entertain because you never know who you're entertaining. You could be entertaining angels unaware. So I'm not saying that I'm careful as to who I speak to because it could be an angel. Um, but what I'm saying is that there is blessings and there is curses in the way you uh, come off on people. You got there's this one guy didn't know who he was talking to, didn't realize he was talking to David, and and he was telling them that you can't stay at my place. You can't have none of this food right here. Y'all can just keep it moving. Y'all can keep it moving. Don't realize that he was talking to David, and that David just got to a point where that you know what, I'm gonna kill this man. I'm gonna kill him. But if it wasn't for the guy's wife, the guy would be dead. However, he died anyway. Of other circumstances. But you have to be careful who you talking to. There's blessings. There's it's called networking. You don't know you're gonna meet the person for someplace else down the road, and that person say, "Hey, I remember this. I remember that. Hey, I'm in a spot to be able to help you out." So you have to present yourself as a businessman.
Just
Or
present
just
yourself.
being friendly.
Just present yourself appropriately. Just be
Yes.
kind to people regardless. Because literally just met him and he was like, "Look me up. I be you guys position the highest, well, one of the highest positions where he's
Yes.
going," and I'm like, okay, like, but you don't really know. I guess he's just the way that I presented myself. And he felt like maybe I have some interest in how she can even how she can be an asset to this school or whatever, or company or whatever. So what Alfred is trying to say is just present yourself in a way that just be nice to everybody. You don't really, whether they're people that can help you advance or whatever, just be kind, because I just think a kind-hearted person, you never really know when you will need a person. Like
Right.
when you do things from your heart and never even expect anything in return, those are the type of people that are blessed, because you genuinely just doing something because there was a need. And not that I'm looking for anything in return. Kind of people, because sometimes when people aren't kind to you, you know how you want to be treated. You know how you want to be treated. Treat people the way you want to be treated. If
Right.
you don't, if you can be mean to people, then that's obviously the way you want to be treated. Or if you want people to be mean to you. But if you want people to be nice to you, kind to you, respectful of you, you have to present yourself like that. You can't want people to be nice to you, but you're mean, and that you're not willing to help people, don't want to be inconvenienced, ain't gonna make no type of changes to accommodate others, because if it's outside of your life, you're not doing it. Those are the people that's never happy. The people that's contented in whatever state that they're in are the people that will give of themselves, that is willing to help and willing to fill those spots that are, those empty spaces that I talk about, that maybe that there's a need but nobody there to fill it. Those are the people who are the most contented and the most happy people, because they know that even though it's not, people haven't done that for me, I'm trying to be a blessing to somebody else. And those are the people that are willing to give of themselves. Simple as that. So I just thought that conversation was really very encouraging. Allowed me to see that everybody ain't about, because and that's another thing. When people think that you're gonna do better than them, they ain't finna help you. If people think that you're gonna make more money than them, oh, they ain't finna help you, because you can't be better than me. How I'm gonna help you be better than me? There are people like that around.
Absolutely.
So I just thought that that was really cool, nice of him to say, "Hey, look me up. I'll be there in August." Okay, trust me, bro. I'm gonna look you up. I'm gonna look you up. I'm like, I've been trying to get in this college forever, so I'm looking forward to that. That what's out there, what God has for me. Okay, so we talked about that. Is there anything else, Mr. Allen? I think we covered it.
Well, I just wanted to also say that it turned out to be a surprise party for the young man, and I was before my wife even spoke to him. They had people come up to anybody want to say anything nice, anybody want to talk about him. I heard a few people come up, and then they kind of got quiet for a while, and I was compelled to just go up there and talk. 20 years in a particular place mean a lot, and I told him that I spoke to the guy when I came in, and he was really soft spoken, and it's all about what you put out. I told him when you put out, you blessing people with what God had the ability that God has given you. Blessings is going to follow you, and I wish the young man well in his endeavors, and I was just compelled to say something because he sounded like a really nice guy. And everybody was talking about, even the students, from the students to his regular peers, was talking about how much of a dynamic guy he was, and
You'll help anybody.
yeah, he kind of reminded me of Samuel L. Jackson,
Really?
Oh yeah, he kind of reminded me of put me in the mind of him, but uh, he was really a soft-spoken guy, and it's one thing that really stuck to me is that he was funny too. He always had a joke.
Really?
Yeah, he said things happen, he have a joke for you, and that's what those are the things that just inspired me to get up and say things. It's nice. It's nice to be well spoken of. That you're good. It's nice that you're good. Is never spoken of. So, yeah, that was it.
When there's a delay in the camera coming this way, it's because
I'm
anyway.
supposed to talk a little longer.
No, I'm chewing again and
I know,
again.
so
It's
I
really
give you
bad. So
a
now
little bit more time.
I've got to return home and get my life right. Get my life right, y'all. Anyway,
We're gonna make it.
anyway, um, hey, Khalif, I'm running the show today, Khalif. It's me. It's all me. So any mistakes made, it's because of me. I don't know what I'm doing all the time. I just figure I should be able to do this. This should not be hard to do. This isn't hard, but
Oh, we're moving ahead. You're doing it. You're doing a
I'm
very good
doing what I
job.
got to do. This is like one. I mean, even though I know parents all over the world they actually do this all the time, especially in August. You're gonna see a lot of parents coming down and moving their child into the dorms and blah 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 blah. But this is a job within itself. I'm telling you, like this is the second time we moved him into a dorm. The other time was last year around this time. We were going down because he was in Miami working with the NFL retired coach. That was like over the top having to do all of this. This it wasn't too bad because I kind of knew exactly what he needed, but it's still like a lot of work. So I'm telling you, man, we got one more to go. We got a little time, 4.5 years, 4 or 5 years, but that is like every parent's dream to be able to take your child to college and help them with set their dorm up, and that's just every parent. I believe that's every parent's dream, be outside of marriage and having being a grandparent. So I think we covered anything else that I want to talk about. Everybody, oh, let me say this over here. I'm gonna need for somebody to explain to me this nobody wearing mask. Mr. Allen went and got a booster before we came, so he can legally say that he's gotten a shot. He don't have to wear a mask. We didn't already talked about just because you got a shot, you still need to be safe. But I mean, for him, it's I feel like in my spirit that's why he got the shot. Just say I got the shot, I don't have to wear the mask. I mean, I don't know, but Colette, that girl had her mask on. I'm not trying to get COVID. I had it before. I wasn't bad, but still, I can't be trusting that. Can't be trusting it. But I've noticed that it's almost like no one's wearing it, and I'm just trying to figure out, did I miss something here? Is this some information that I missed? Why is it? Why aren't people wearing their masks? Help me understand that. Is this a new law? What's happening, people? Do y'all know what's going on? Did I miss the memo? I mean, not the menu. Did I miss the memo? Help me. Sounds like crickets to me. Okay, so I was
I actually
wondering.
wear my mask a lot more.
Right.
And, because
I always break
you
the
also
rules.
have, but something, I don't know why when I'm with my wife, I'm a lot more lazy. But when I'm in my truck, every time I get out, or I would say at least put my mask on. Because, I'm around a lot of truck drivers. And it's a nasty truck driver, so I wear my mask. Lord.
Okay, let me tell you something. Let me try to help you out a little bit, and then we're going to get off this YouTube.
Okay.
It's going to take the Lord, the Holy Spirit, and a couple of witnesses for me to believe that Al wears his mask more when I am not with him versus I'm with him. When I tell you he does not wear his mask, and it's like I ain't going to say no rebellion, because that's going to take it too far, but he doesn't wear his mask. I can't believe that he wears it when I'm not there, because I'm constantly reminding him, you need to wear your mask. So if I'm not there with you, you're not wearing your mask. You're not. We got to move on. You are not wearing your mask. That's all I got to say.
I wear it.
We are going to go ahead and move on.
But one thing I want to say about
no, we don't.
The university.
And then we're going to move on, because that is not accurate information.
I do. I wear my mask.
No, you don't.
Well, not around you, but I wear it at least 90% of the time when I'm in my truck.
All right.
The University of Jackson, Mississippi, I was looking around the campus and I came to an area that's opened up, and it's something like where the different sororities have their benches, something row. I forget the name of it, but it was so beautiful up through there. And I looked at the trees, and I'm telling you, those trees were over 100 years old. They were so beautiful. You could just look at them and tell that they were older trees, and their arms extended from one side of the campus to the other side and intertwined with one another. And it just looks so beautiful to see trees that have been standing for so many decades. So that's one of the things that I remember. And then different things, some they built at different times, and some of them look older, but they still well kept. It just came back. It's a beautiful university. Okay. All right, that's it.
All right. Because when you was talking about trees, I thought you was going to bring a Raymond word about the trees, how they intertwine together and they switched it all up and they still standing. I thought he was going to preach, but
kind of like a burning bush type.
I see that you didn't go in, so I just assumed you just was like admiring the beauty. Okay, thank you for sharing that. So guys, listen, we've come to the end of our show. I hope that you all remember that we're going to be on YouTube. So when we go live, it's on YouTube. Now on Facebook, I will post something to remind you guys to come to YouTube if you want to check us out. But ultimately, we will be on YouTube. So please subscribe to our channel. Once again, thank you for a thumbs up, I guess.
Give us a thumbs up on today, family. We love you.
Okay. So it's come to the end of our show. So we're gonna move on, and we want to just thank everyone. Okay, just a second, because I always like to promote the business. All right. So remember, if you know anyone, check out the business on our webpage at www.onestage2021.com. You remember that one stage at a time. You know that's a therapy service that offers. It's for children that require early interventions in physical, intellectual learning, language, behavior, and social and emotional development. We use evidence-based practices to support our parents by providing services and resources that can improve their child's performance and assist children in reaching each developmental milestone. So please go to our page. We give free consultations. You can email us or call us at the number that's provided, and we will set up a free consultation, and we can have a conversation just in case you feel that your child needs these services. Also, I would like to give special thanks to all of our viewers, followers, and supporters of Restoring the Brokenness. Special thanks to Colette Allen, the technician on today. Please remember to like and share our page. Follow us on Instagram, Restoring the Brokenness, on Twitter at RT Brokenness. You know, you guys, we are on YouTube, so come on over. Subscribe to our channel. Also, you can email us at restoringthebrokenness@gmail.com. And remember, be whole, be healed, and be at
peace.
Bye now. Bye. Say goodbye.
Hey.
All right.
Farewell.
So next week we'll be home and we'll have that conversation. And we'll talk a little bit more about Roe versus Wade. All right. So until next time. Bye-bye.